approach success, Mags? Which is our topic for today.
What is success?
Who
Well,
is
I think that's the whole point of success, right? Is like, what is success to you? Because, and we talk about this on with some regularity, either on here or not. But um, there are such narrow definitions of what success is supposed to look like, and I think those are not applicable to everyone. I honestly like when people go, oh, you need to, have the ambition for a seven-figure business. And I'm like, no, I don't. I also don't have that ambition. But it's, like as soon as I always say, like, as soon as something becomes almost dogmatic, I immediately want to disregard it. That's not how I work. But
Yes.
um the maths need to math. It
Yes.
needs to things need to add up for your life, for your circumstance, for how you want to run your business. If I want my business to become a seven-figure business, it's going to be a very different business from what it is now, and it means that I will have a very different role and very different tasks,
Mhm.
and I don't necessarily want those roles or tasks.
Yeah, it's a valid point that how many new businesses have failed that you hear about recently because they got too successful and they couldn't cope with that. I mean, I know a couple off the top of my head that they couldn't cope with the fact that they had a lot of funding coming in. They had to grow very quickly in order to meet the demand of what they were offering, often with
Mm,
software or something like that.
mm.
And the business is no more because they've
It
absolutely crumbled
couldn't.
from the success.
Right, exactly. But I
Mm,
think as well, like, even, I mean, this isn't maybe not business related, but I've had to make some adjustments to my life to accommodate some changes.
mhm.
Um, and when I started with that, I became really quite rigorous with it and very unforgiving towards myself. Whereas what what I learned in that process is that success isn't adhering to uh, the optimized version of something 100% of the time. That's not how humans don't function that way, right? It's in the um, incrementally making better choices. It's like everybody who tells me to read Atomic Habits, and then finally I did. And I was like, oh, that's what it's about, huh? Um, but it is true, right? Like,
Mhm.
success doesn't have to be, oh, I went from 0 to 100. It
Mm.
can be, oh, I went from 0 to 1. That is success. That is a win.
Yeah.
And then I can build to 2. And maybe, next month I get to 10. And that is what makes growth sustainable.
Mhm.
And I don't necessarily only mean business growth by, how much money you're making, but as a human, that's how we grow. And I think growth is, to me, is success, right? Like, so long as I can say, hey, I'm becoming better at things, I'm creating a life that is better for me, that supports me more, that is more aligned with who I am, that allows me to be who I want to be and need to be, and with more ease and more flow, and whatever, however you want to word that. But I think that to me is success.
Yeah. No, very true. Very true. And it's funny when you mentioned Atomic Habits, and my brain was like, how many times do we people see people promoting, learn to be successful, and
Mm.
here is my strategy for you to succeed. And I'm like, that's your way to succeed, not necessarily someone else's.
With, I mean, this is all
Templates
that
for
I talk about,
success.
right? Is like,
Oh,
figure out the way that works for you. Because that's also what's going to keep it sustainable.
mm,
If you have to show up the way that someone else would show up all the time, that means you're constantly playing a part, and nobody, not a single person in this world, can play another person 100% of the time. You're
yeah.
going to become exhausted and burned out and overwhelmed, right? And that is not how this works. What I have really been learning a lot, because my mental health was not in the best of places. And what I really learned from coming back, or I mean, I'm still working on it, but what I'm learning from coming back from that as well is like success to me isn't successful if it's not supportive of my entire system,
Mm-hmm.
right? I cannot call something success if I'm constantly pushing myself into survival,
Yeah.
or if I'm constantly pushing my body beyond what is uh, comfortable. And I don't mean that as the, oh, I can just have whatever, but we have to support our body and grow and you know, in ways that are incremental, and that like if every day we can do one thing that is incrementally better than we did it last. And honestly, sometimes incrementally better today means not doing as much as I did yesterday, because today I am in a different place than I was yesterday, right? Yesterday I had a lot of energy. Today I don't have a lot of energy. That means that today is going to look very different and maybe objectively less productive. And we often see productivity as being successful.
Yeah.
But
True.
sometimes the most successful thing you can do is sit on your sofa, make sure that you eat and drink, and that's it. If you've managed that, good for you. Success has been had. You've nourished yourself. You are still alive. You know, like sometimes that's all we've got, and that can be success.
Mm.
But yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this. Uh, because I honestly, it's such an allergy to me that success means, you know, getting to getting up the hierarchy. I mean, hierarchy is wasted on me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you know, get the promotion, do more work, be more efficient, work
Yeah.
smarter, not harder, whatever. Like this, all these sort of ways that our internalized capitalism is trying to make us define success. And sometimes success, honestly, is the fact that you got out of bed today and had breakfast.
Yeah.
Good
That's
for you. You are winning.
Yeah. And I think also for business owners, success will be different for someone who's working in an organization, because
Yes.
your success is for that organization. If you're working for an organization, you're defined by the success around you for that organization. It might be that you have wins, but overall, if that business isn't successful, you don't have a job. So your business environment determines the type of success you can have. It can be financial, it might not be financial. It might be that if your business or if your work environment is based around deadlines and you meet your deadlines, that's huge success.
Yeah.
You know, there's
I
it's
also,
so different.
sorry to interrupt again, but again, I'm very passionate about this.
I've
Uh,
heard.
the financial goals as well, right? Like for me, numbers, they don't work because numbers are just numbers. They don't mean anything to me. Um, so it's like, okay, so what is the number I need so that I can create what I need to create, right?
Yeah.
Like, so bring it back to that. Like,
Well,
and
it's still
I
numbers. Those numbers matter, but they're
the
a different
numbers
type of
matter, but they
in
have
a
for
different
me, they have to
context.
have a reason behind them. Like,
Yeah.
why this number? Because
Yeah.
this number gets me from here to here,
Yeah, it's
right?
like it's like forecasting. I really struggle with business forecasting,
Mm.
and I've done this with someone who's been helping me, and she said, "Well, let's do a forecast for the next 3 months." And I think it was like March, April, May, or something or other, and we sort of did the numbers. And I went back to her in April and said, "Well, let's look at the numbers." And she said, "Oh, they haven't grown." And I'm like, "No, because I'm restructuring the business." Like it's not like I'm going to miraculously make, the number of, it was like 5 times blah blah blah. That is not miraculously going to appear if I can't then build the structure around what I'm doing in order to make that a possibility.
Hmm.
It's like numbers out of thin air. It's like people getting told they have to meet targets. Who set the target? Like it's not like
I know,
this
right?
is
But
something that is defined by, I don't know, the world. this number has been defined by someone for you to meet. And if you meet it or don't meet it, what are the consequences of that?
Yeah.
That's what drives me mad as well with, you haven't met this financial obligation for this, but I overachieved last month. So where is the
Where's the
compromise
balance to
between?
that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah.
Well, and again, like, why do you need to meet that target? Like, what does that target mean to you?
Hmm.
Because a target for the sake of a target motivates no one.
Yeah.
Like you can maybe for a month, but that's not long term. That's not sustainable goal
Yeah.
setting. Like it has to be rooted in what you want and the life that you want to create, and what does that mean to you? Um, because because otherwise it's just arbitrary milestones, and
Yeah.
they don't do anything for you.
And
And I'm not saying that, having the ambition to get the promotion is incorrect, but
mm,
it has to be your inner drive that decides that's valuable to you,
yeah.
right? That wouldn't be valuable to me, but that doesn't mean that it's not valuable to someone else. Like, if that's valuable to you, go achieve that, go after it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not how my mind works, but that doesn't mean that your mind works less is less valid than mine.
Yeah. And it's like
um
external success, internal success might be very
yeah.
different things, but they can coexist, they can be conflicting to each other, but they still are there. And it's like your internal success is up to you to determine what that looks like. And as you say, if it's getting out of bed and having breakfast, and that is your level of success for the day, brilliant. Like, own that success because you've done it. If it's
Yeah.
going to be influenced externally, like because you have to meet a target, and if you meet that target, that's defined as success, then great. But I think, yeah, success is going to be seen in very different ways in very different industries and environments.
And for very different people.